I'm retired Lieutenant Colonel Lee Ray Johns Mabry. I got my commission in the Alabama Air National Guard, Birmingham, Alabama, and was there for a couple of years. The 117th Attack Hospital, transferred to the reserves in Charleston Air Force Base at the 31st, and then it changed to 315th AES, and I flew there for 14 years, airback, and then I transferred after getting married and wanting to be grounded instead of flying again. Closer to home, and I was at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, and little did I know I was going to be the chief nurse of the 916th Air Reserve Clinic until I retired in 2014. Things I carried. Having been an air medical evacuation flight nurse flight instructor with the 31st 315th Air Medical Evacuation Squadron at Charleston Air Force Base, South Carolina, I was required to carry a flight bag on all flights. I initially started carrying a helmet bag, but I kept adding additional stuff that I wanted or needed to carry. Eventually, I settled on a carry-on suitcase with wheels, thank God. What was in my flight bag? Well, of course, pertinent air medical evacuation regulations, a flight nursing skills notebook for reference of effects of flight by systems and injury types, my blue checklist of emergency procedures handbook when not in my ankle pocket of my flight suit. I also carried a crossword or find a word book, the Gideon's New Testament Bible, flight gloves, flight cap, scarf, and watch cap. What else? Small toiletry bag containing shampoo, deodorant, toothbrush, and toothpaste, dental floss, lotion, and makeup. Next, for just in case, survival items. A wire chainsaw, fishing gear, flint match, waterproof matches, a P38 can opener, a small can opener, Swiss Army knife, a Bowie boot knife, an ice pick that my dad sent me during Desert Shield with the instructions on how to use it to kill someone if circumstances ever required it, a rain poncho, whistle, compass, and a silver thermal blanket. For entertainment, card game, Uno or Old Maid, deck of cards, making bacon pick dice game, say that 3 times fast, a mini Etch-a-Sketch, pens, note papers, office supplies. On actual flights, I also carry snacks like beef sticks, crackers, gum, and the canned cheese, thus the need for wheels. Med kits weren't required since our flight medical equipment had what might be needed in an emergency. I carried Band-Aids, ibuprofen, Dramamine too, for personal use if needed. Ask me what I used the least? The survival equipment. Thank God we never had to use it. What do I carry today? Having retired after 28 years from the Air Force Reserves, besides having PTSD, being hypervigilant, having situational awareness, an aversion to being in the middle of a big crowd, can't sit with my back to the door, I still carry most of the stuff in my car, minus the AE regs, of course. I still have a survival kit, toiletry kit, makeup, Gideon's Bible, snacks. Since Helene last year, my first aid kit has grown. I also carry 4 life straws, 1 for each family member, a solar phone charger, a car emergency jumper charger with charging ports for mobile devices, a flashlight, an emergency radio, a CPR mask, and more thermal blankets and 4 orange emergency sleeping bags. For Christmas last year, I gave emergency kits to my family and friends that had life straws, thermal blankets, compass, whistle, first aid, and survival kits to keep in their cars. I became a preparer, a prepper, just in case. You never know when you might need something. As the saying goes, it is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Thank you.